And we are live. Hey, everybody. I am Haley Gray. This is my dear friend, Victoria Bentley.
Hi, everybody.
I am a digital marketer. I own Fiercely Marketing, which is a boutique digital marketing agency, which means we fix really broken SEO, really broken websites, really broken ads, non-working social media. We fix them all. And Victoria,
we're good at it.
Thank you, is my friend. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some of the issues that businesses face as they're trying to grow, as they're trying to scale. Victoria and I were having this conversation earlier this week because I'm working on some sales copy for a client. And, we're looking for pain points. And one of the things that Victoria and I came up with, we're talking about billing. And getting
the sexiest topic you've ever heard on a podcast, billing.
Oh, yeah. But, like money in your pocket is really, really sexy. Being profitable, paying yourself, that's really nice. Not being able to pay the bills.
And here's the thing. And let me talk about it as an attorney. So I had at one point, I think 8 lawyers working for me, and they received a salary from me and their check came every Thursday. Well, they got paid whether I got paid or not. And those lawyers, I just hate billing Sally Sue because she doesn't have any money and her kids need to this. And it's like, okay, then Sally Sue needs to find another lawyer. But you keep going to court and giving Sally Sue free legal work, but you get a paycheck. And a lot of employees don't understand that if you're a small business owner, they're getting paid, but you might not be because of their remiss. So as that small business owner, you have to be prepared to ride herd on your employees and say, let me see what you built today, and back it up to hiring date, what I expect of you to bill. Now you say, well, that doesn't sound like much integrity. Yes, it is. If you have clients, I expect you to be busy. And if you aren't busy, then you don't have enough clients. You need to be working. You're being paid for 40 plus hours a week. And when I would see billing of 15 or 20 hours, and I would sit and go over it with them. Yeah, I didn't bill her for going to court. Oh, I didn't bill her for drafting the petition, because they didn't like asking for money. And I would cut people off. It's like in my fee agreement says, if you owe us money, we're not going to court. And that's really clear. It's not like surprise, surprise. And we would keep you always current every month. Like, this is what we've done. This is what you owe. And by the way, June 15th, we have a court date coming up. You need to be current on your bill, and you need to have a retainer for that court time, because we're about to put in, 15, 20 hours to go to court. Be prepared, whatever. And everybody hates it. I can't get over how people are so conflict averse about asking for money and getting paid. Oh, but if their paycheck isn't in the mail on Thursday, they're calling you saying, why didn't I get paid? And I don't have the luxury of saying, because I didn't. So as the owner, you're the last to get paid. Everybody else gets paid. And payroll is your biggest expense. And payroll doesn't happen unless you do appropriate billing. And the big thing is, the longer you wait to bill, the less likely you are of getting paid.
Or the longer you let that bill sit after you have sent it, the less likely you are to get paid. And Jacqueline makes a great comment. She's saying performance expectations. Absolutely. Is that a fear-based mentality? Yes. People, I think, are scared to charge people for their hours, bill for their time. I've been there. I've done it. I think we all have, to some extent or another, because we want people to like us.
But that's why you have everything figured out up front.
Right, exactly.
Before anybody walks out the door, they know what the terms of the deal are. So there are no surprises. And there's, I didn't expect that. Yep. You go over that fee agreement with the client line by line by line, so that they understand what they're buying and what it's good, so that there isn't sticker shock. You don't want that for them. You want them to be adequately planned. And
Absolutely.
that's how the best situation works. And I think that when you operate, I'm sorry, I have dust in my eye because I have the fan on. When you operate from that um, position, then everybody knows what is expected of him or her, from the lawyers who work from you, or the people who are building sites or designing or graphics or whatever, from the people who are doing the work to the people who are on the receiving end. Everybody has read the fee agreement. Everybody understands. So
Yeah. I'm
that
not getting paid until you do the work. And if you don't do the work, we lose the client, which means you don't get paid.
right. And there is nothing that is more demoralizing in a business is watching money slip away. I have a friend who owned an aviation business. It's called an FBO, which is a fixed base operator. And what they do is they sell fuel, they fix airplanes, they charter airplanes. As you know, the price of fuel changes every day, and you got to hire a pilot. You might have to hire a flight attendant depending on the size of the airplane and whatever. So you don't take off unless they've paid for the fuel or have some arrangement. But here's the thing, and I learned a lot from them, that she would call every morning every Monday morning when she would get in and say, Billy Bob, we flew that trip to Charlotte last Thursday. You owe us X. Are you paying by credit card or wire transfer? And man, they got paid. They got paid because she wasn't afraid to ask, and grass did not grow under her feet. They were on it. And that's the way we have to be, as scary it is. The lady said, fear-based. Yes, people are very afraid about asking money, and you shouldn't be. This is how you can provide a great service. This is how you hire great people. This is how you create a great product. It's because you have the money to buy the equipment and to have the office and all this other stuff. You got to do it.
Right. And here's the thing too. You know, in your business, you had to pay your payroll, your insurance, your workman's comp, your mortgage. You have a lot of really, really fixed bills. Being the business owner, you don't always make this huge Mongo paycheck, you know, every single time. You know, you're basically getting a little bit of what's left over at the end.
Well, not for long, because if that's how it's rolling, you need to be in a better,
absolutely,
a different job. If you're getting crumbs at the end and everybody else is getting paid, then it needs to be different.
Well, absolutely.
Figure out what's going wrong.
But it can very much end up being that way if you're not making sure that the bills are going out and the invoices are being collected on. In my business, I have massive labor costs because we do websites, we do search engine optimization, we do content writing, we do a lot of stuff. And yes, I can do a lot of it myself, but there is a point where, guess what? I can't do it all anymore. That's why I started hiring people. And,
but you're also the brains of the operation.
Yeah. Well,
you have a vision, and you've got, for lack of a better word, expensive hands.
Yeah.
Why should you be doing this when your job is to create this and to come up with all this, when you can hire people to do certain jobs so that you can tend to the big picture, the business growth, the future, the vision?
Oh, absolutely. Right. But, you as a business can only go but so far. So, if you're not charging people, you're not going to allow yourself to go as far as you should be going. Or, even if you're staying as a solo, you're not going to make the income that you need to be making or should be making if you're not sending out those invoices, getting them paid on time. In my business, I charge in advance of doing the work.
Yes, retainers.
And then retainers are a thing. And then at the end, like for a website, we take a deposit up front and then we get paid the rest at the end, but we don't deliver that website until the money is paid. Because once we've delivered it, we can't just take it back easily.
It's not easy.
No.
You and I had talked about problems with billing. You and I brought that up and say, what are some of the problems? What are some of the issues? One of the issues is embezzlement. And I've got to tell you this story that'll just blow your mind. So at our company, we needed a bookkeeper up front. We needed an assistant bookkeeper, actually, because we have an accounting firm that does all of that, but they send their bookkeeper in, and we needed somebody to do the day-to-day and assist because the office manager was too busy. So the accounting firm, which has gotten swallowed up by a larger firm, the accounting firm got into the business of headhunter. We will find you a bookkeeper. We will find you an accountant for your company. They started an employment agency within their firm, which I thought was very peculiar, but okay, they're really good at this. They're accountants, right? So they sent us a woman named Crystal. Okay, Crystal started very pleasant. A guy walks in from the factory and said, "Isn't that Crystal, what's her name?" And we said, "Yeah." And they said, "Oh, she was on the front page of the paper this week for embezzling from XYZ company."
Oh, delightful.
So not only did the accounting firm, let's say she was earning $10 an hour at the time, and they're charging us 15 or whatever their float is on top of this. We said, "Didn't you vet her?" And they said, "Well, we thought you would." And I'm thinking, then why am I paying you this extra money? I mean, that's your job to give me qualified candidates. They didn't even know that she was an embezzler. So you have to be really careful about that. And I had one in my law firm. I had a person who, when I was not in the office, would call you up. "Hey, Haley, listen, we're going to court, and Victoria has asked me to call you and get, X number of dollars from you." And a client called me and was hopping mad. "I just gave you $2,000. What do you mean you need another $2,000? And I said, "I don't need $2,000. "Well, we're going to court." "No, we're not." "Well, your secretary called." "Oh, well, okay." So yes, indeed. And the police were called. They went through the computer and they found she was using the computer to further her crime, which makes it a felony. It's 18 US code when you use a computer in furtherance of a crime. And she was just going through, and she had a gambling problem. Okay. And she had just won $80,000 in a lottery ticket, and that was gone. And, she was at casinos anyway. But here was the thing. She had worked for 2 other lawyers, and I had asked them, "Did you like Sally Sue?" "Oh, yeah, she was very pleasant." None of them wanted to risk the lawsuit by saying she was an embezzler. So she came and embezzled from me. And I thought, whoa.
Did you end up filing charges?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Yes, I did. And I will tell you the result of the story when we're not on camera, which was stunning. And a friend of mine was the lawyer who represented her. And it was not a happy day, let me tell you. But
no, I'm sure. And the thing is that, like, as the business owner, a lot of times, I see a lot of the money mindset coaches, and they're like, like imagining what you want and everything. Part of it with that achieving what you want and that money mindset is being an awesome steward of your own money. One of the things I have learned throughout this whole business thing
that they're selling
is that this whole business thing, the whole money mindset piece, is all about being an amazing steward of your money. So that means
and working your ass off.
Yeah, well, and you're getting the right software at the right price, and you're not paying for stuff you don't need, but you're getting the right things to leverage and make your team more productive and do the things that you need in the way you need it to do it, in a way that's affordable. There's a ton of software out there that will enable me to do massive ad campaigns for Google and Facebook. And some of it is very, very, very expensive. And it's, $1,000 to $1,500 a month just for the software.
Yikes.
Per client.
Per client.
Per client. So needless to say, most of the time we're not doing that for our clients because they don't have that kind of budget. So some of that is being a good steward and not overbuying the software, not overbuying things, because you might get an extra, 0.03% in improvement in, your ads performance.
But that's just discipline. There are a lot of people who want the latest and the shiniest. And you have to say to yourself, do I really need it? Is it really going to enhance my business? Is it going to bring in more money? And a lot of people don't want to say that to themselves. They just say, oh, I want it. It's shiny and it's whizzy and it's whatever. And not thinking about what is really in their best interests.
Yeah, totally.
And I think, one of the other questions you had asked when we had talked about billing, one of the hard things is, to me, this seems like a no-brainer if you are a bookkeeper. But I had someone who didn't really understand QuickBooks. And QuickBooks is pretty de rigueur. I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of simple systems. I shouldn't say simple systems because I don't operate QuickBooks myself. But I have people who work for me who do. And I think anyone who is spending too much time on the software, you need to really think about, is that the right person for you to be doing billing if they can't manage
Amen.
QuickBooks or
any aspect of the business too, right? If I hire someone to build a website, I know roughly how many hours it should take somebody to build a website. Now, I know that if somebody doesn't have 25 years of experience, it may take them 20 to 30% longer than it takes me to do it. So I factor that into the budget. Or, writing an article. I know that it takes me X amount of time. I know to allocate Y amount of time. But if I'm seeing, my amount of time times 3, then I know we've got a problem.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. We're just trying to keep it real here, because at the end of the day, if you're not making money, this is just a really expensive hobby.
Like, why get out of bed? If you're not making a living. I mean, I'm not encouraging greed. I'm encouraging success. And these are the things you need to know to be successful.
Yeah.
And like the CRM, somebody's got to be able to operate the CRM. That is.
And you've got to, and you have to invest the time in the CRM to learn how to use it. And I'll make another statement in your business, just like you have to learn how to use and leverage QuickBooks and your cost and your managerial accounting, every piece of software like your CRM, you need to learn to leverage it and squeeze every single bit of functionality out of it that makes sense for your business.
And that means investing in some good training. That you don't know it. You pay the people who know it well and can teach you and your people. That's you're going to lay out a couple of grand, but think of what you're going to save in the long run, because you're going to get those bills out and you're going to have your clients managed properly. And that's really what's happening. And all of this stuff, like I said, this is the most unsexy stuff. You want to write that book. You want to create that website. You want to design that building. You want to whatever. But if you don't have these tools in your toolbox, you're going to spin your wheels and you're not going to get paid. And you have to first and foremost, money is your friend. Money is a commodity. Money is a tool. And you have to be okay with asking for it, thanking people for it, being grateful to God that you have a job and that you are getting paid. And to be able to say, Haley, I haven't received my invoice from you. I haven't received the $200 that was due this week. Is there a problem? And you can do it graciously. You can do it politely. And it has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacqueline, you're right. I have enough hobbies. I outsourced a few things in November after not understanding or getting my email marketing, lead magnets, et cetera, done. Yeah, absolutely. And Jacqueline asks, what kind of law do you practice?
What I did practice was family law, divorce support, custody, and some adoption. I did wills I didn't do trust work. I did for my clients, I did wills for them, but I was not doing wills for the Rockefellers and for Bill Gates. I wasn't doing that kind of trust work and that heavy,
Mhm.
heavy stuff.
Yeah, totally. And
Mhm.
Tish says, smart businessman. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's this, it's a process in your business of, managing the money instead of it managing you.
Oh, good
Um,
point. That's so
oh,
smart. Yes, because this stuff can really swing you around by the tail. It can.
oh, it absolutely will swing you around by the tail. Not just can, but it will. It's guaranteed to do it at some point in time.
I can
Um,
remember going on a vacation. The gentleman I was dating at the time was giving a paper at a convention in Las Vegas, and he said, "Do you want to go along?" And I thought, this would be kind of nice. He's busy during the day doing his conference. What I did, and you all will laugh at this. I mean, I have a gambling limit of $20 a day, and that's just fun.
mhm,
That's entertainment. That's not gambling. Okay, I took all of my billing with me to Las Vegas. I bought envelopes at the Staples. I bought stamps, and I did all my billing and got it all done in a week. So I didn't really have a vacation, but I got it done. And I think,
mhm.
what did you do in Las Vegas? Where did you go? I had this really comfortable room where I did my billing. And I learned. I learned after that. I I got somebody to come and do it for me because my job was to be the lawyer. And I was a lot more successful at being a lawyer than I was at being a bookkeeper. That's not what I was trained in. That's not what I was good at. It was just
Mhm.
necessity. So if somebody else were doing the bookkeeping and the billing at an hourly rate, I could go off and be a lawyer, and it was a lot more financially intelligent to do it that way.
Mhm.
So think about it. Yeah, you're going to be spending a few bucks on payroll or a part-time bookkeeper who comes in 3 hours a week and enters all your billing, whatever it takes. But think about it. That makes more sense than you doing it. So I throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Especially you don't have a learning curve of learning the software. You've got
Mhm.
somebody who does. You just in the days of the internet, you've got to search and make sure you don't have an embezzler. And
Mhm.
that's a really big issue. And
Yeah.
most of my friends, and this I thought this was stunning. I mean, this we found out over a lunch. Most of my friends have had a secretary or an admin or a something who has been an embezzler.
Mhm.
And I read it's something like 80%, I think it was that number, 80% of Catholic churches have had employees who embezzle. And I
Mhm.
guess it's so tempting. I mean, this piles of cash come in every Sunday morning.
Mhm.
Here, you go to the bank. Oh, I took a 20, that kind of thing. It starts small and then it's I am entitled. And you have to
Mhm.
be and for a lot of businesses, you could look at a lawyer and say, well, gee, they make a lot of money. They're billing $300 an hour. Well, yeah, I'm billing 300 an hour, but I'm paying 8 lawyers, the roof, the liability, the electric bill.
I
I'm
bring
paying.
home 50.
Yeah, right. You're bringing home whatever, and it's not. But to someone who's earning $10 an hour, they don't always see it that way. They just see that you've got lots, they've got little, therefore I am entitled, and you can
Mhm.
get into real trouble that way.
Yeah, one of the problems I had in my previous business, and one of the reasons I'm really cagey like a cat now, um, was that I had employees who had access to a company credit card for business related expenses, and we had to have the discussion about thou shalt not be going out to lunch on the company dime because they started just going out to lunch and treating themselves to lunch because y'all can afford it,
And that's embezzlement.
even though we weren't making any money. They were helping themselves to lunch, and it's a huge thing. And so Jacqueline asked, wow, did the agencies have background checks and the criteria to evaluate the contracts?
Yes, the content, yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in my business has always had background checks, but sometimes it's the little judgment calls If somebody has the least little access to money, or they see the money or whatever, and I've even seen it, you know, in my current business, where people think that because I earn a lot of money, or I appear to earn a lot of money, that it's okay to somehow try to get away with stuff financially.
It's entitlement. It's wrong on every level.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times the sob stories are very real. They do have a sick child, or their husband has left them, or they've got to buy this medicine that's $100 a pop. Those are very real issues. And as an employer, I am not a social welfare agency. I help my people as much as I can. I got to slip in one thing here in terms of social welfare agencies. I told this story once before. I'm going to tell it again. A client came into me absolutely brokenhearted. His wife had left him. He was ready to commit suicide. He couldn't stop crying. He couldn't sleep. It had been days like this. And he was talking about suicide. And I said, "Who is your doctor?" He told me. I called the doctor, and he had tried to get an appointment. The guy couldn't see him for 2 weeks. Give me his name. And I called the doctor, and I said, "This is Victoria Bentley. Your client, Billy Bob, is sitting here with me. He tells me he is going to kill himself. He needs to see a physician. You have been his family doctor for 10 years. I'm sending him to you now." Well, lo and behold, when the attorney calls, there's all of a sudden a cancellation, and the guy went to see the attorney, the doctor. So the doctor took him in, put him on Xanax, put him on an antidepressant. He settled down. He was able to sleep. He was able to get back to work. And he had sole custody of 3 children because his wife had left, and left like a 2, 4, and 6-year-old. And this guy had a job too. I mean, it was very bad.
I've seen that happen though a few times.
So I had intervened and got him into the doctor. So my client gets hooked on Xanax and sues me because I got him to the doctor to be hooked on Xanax. That's how entitled people feel. And I think about it, and I was trying to do the right thing. I didn't want him to kill himself. Well, after that, I kind of wanted him to, but that's another story. But you think about it, it's something very innocent. You make money.
And you were doing the right thing at the right time, and got sued for.
And I'd do it again. I would do it again because
a decent human being.
Die. Yeah, didn't want him to die. But I think about this, that you lend somebody a car, you give somebody a place to live, and they slip and fall. It's your fault legally. So a lot of this good deed stuff is tricky when you own a business. And how this kind of relates to billing, I'm not sure. But I want to say be careful when people are taking advantage, because it can come back on you because you didn't stop it. And you have to stop. What do they go out for lunch on the company credit card and get injured there. Well, they're there on company business, and then they can turn around and sue you.
Yeah.
It's just,
the world has gone mad.
The world has gone mad, and you have to CYA. You have to.
Yeah.
So,
and Jacqueline says, yeah, I knew where you were going with the story. Yeah. It's just, we've all dealt with clients gone mad, employees gone mad, the whole situation. It's It's one of those challenges as a business owner. And it relates to billing because you need appropriate business insurance. Yeah. Liability, professional liability, all of the things.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. And nowadays, let's throw in cybersecurity as well. I think we just got a nice, healthy display of that last week with the pipeline, with the ransomware attack. That's another form of insurance you need in your business.
And how many people do you know who have had their websites taken hostage and you got to pay them Bitcoin?
So usually we blow up the website when that happens. But so far we've had a Boy Scout website turned into a porn site. Yeah.
Whoa.
We've had, we've dealt with probably 20 or 30 hacks in the last 2 years. Everything from client sites being turned into porn sites and everything else. Good backups and good technology go a long way. But, definitely having the right kind of insurance for ransomware is huge, because 70 to 80% of those businesses go out of business because they don't have the right insurance.
That's really good to know. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
I will find out tomorrow what we have.
So if you think of it, the ransom for the ransomware with the pipeline last week was only about 5 million in Bitcoin. Think
about how much it could have been.
Think about what the ramifications were in our country, especially down here in the Southeast, with, everybody, not being able to go to school, things not being able to be delivered, everything that happened. It was a massive impact. That $5 million was a drop in the bucket.
So take it a step further. The ambulance couldn't pick up the heart attack victim and he died. Those people are now felony murder. Somebody dies during the commission of a felony. Because of the felony you've committed, you are now on the hook for murder.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yeah. Pretty ugly stuff.
Do your bills. Go to Las Vegas, sit in a nice room with a view, do your bills.
Mm-hmm.
And
stay on top of your bills. Make sure you've got your insurance, all those things.
Every week.
Yeah.
And if you don't see it returned, you start dialing for dollars on Monday morning. Sally Sue, we sent you a bill. It's past 10 days. What's happening, girl?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it.
Yep, totally.
Can't be afraid.
No.
I like working with you, Haley.
I like working with you too, Victoria. This is so much fun.
Every time, and I always have fun.
Me too. I love it. Thank you for joining, and thank you guys for playing along with me. Jacqueline and Tish and everybody who's been commenting. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys.
Great.
Let us know how we can support you, and we will be back again next week. Take care, guys.
Let us know the topic you might want.
Yeah. Love you guys.